Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to the other side of midnight. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Already in the chat, we have Continuum Chronicles, some guy named Deleted Scenes. He could be trouble. I'm going to keep an eye on him. And Last Call with Troy Pacelli. And yes, Troy, Al is indeed awake. And I'm going to bring him on here in just a few moments. Now, for anyone that did not watch my earlier broadcast, Unscripted, and hello, Netters Network. Well, I wonder if I could mute that Deleted Scenes guy. Yes, mute away. All right. Well, for those of you who did not see my earlier broadcast, Unscripted, you will know that I'm expanding things a little bit. And I am adding 2 new live streams to my repertoire. My What's on My Shelf segment will now be a series. I will schedule it for sometime either tomorrow or Tuesday. Haven't decided on a time yet. So stay tuned to your notifications. Make sure you have hit the bell icon to make sure you're still getting notifications. And I'm going to start doing karaoke streams, which I'm also going to do either tomorrow night or Tuesday. So once again, stay tuned. Oh, block away. Hit me. I'm unarmed. All righty. So yeah, consider this season 2 of the channel. Evolve or die, onward or upward, all that good stuff. All right, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, hit the like, share out the stream. All right. Without further ado, I am going to bring on our guest.
Hello.
Al presents. Good evening.
How are you doing? Thank you for having me, Deleted Scenes. And you said without further ado. I like a little ado. You know, that's sometimes the more ado, the better.
Indeed. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on. I know it's a little later than you normally go.
Yeah, when you say time out of my schedule, I'm usually asleep by now. But
yeah, this is definitely one for the night owls for sure. Continuum says there's buffering. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Can everybody hear us okay?
Like I said, I'm only on the StreamYard, so I don't know what YouTube might be doing, but
yeah.
Everything sounds well from my perspective,
yep.
Anyway.
Okay. And Troy's saying he's not having any problem. CK, you might just want to just refresh and then come back. Yeah, he says he thinks it's him. Yeah, just go ahead, hop out, refresh, and then come back. No, it happens, dude. Don't worry.
Yeah. I would like to say, I hope Netter feels better. Yeah. Sounds like she's having a rough time. So,
Yeah,
It'd
feel
be in my
better news.
thoughts. Yeah, definitely hope she feels better.
Troy says, in fairness, if I'm okay, Netter will be too, because it's the same internet connection. Yeah, that's true too. So, all right.
Mhm.
I will start out with what is usually my standard question for guests that come on. Your YouTube origin story. How did you join the Manson family chronicles that is YouTube?
Pretty much peer pressure.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I still, well, you know, I've never been one to do any kind of recording or broadcasting or anything like that. I'm, you know, self-conscious, shy kind of guy. I used to be, and one time, a while back, Professor Geek was doing a show called Iconicast, which kind of came about because, you know, all the iconic heroes were being deconstructed, and it was a place to kind of commiserate and things like that. And he invited me to be part of that, along with my friend Sierra, uh, and you know, did that, and that morphed into being his co-host on Office Hours, and we did rewatches. And I just, you know, kind of liked doing it. And then he kind of took a break for a while. So in order to get my fix, I kind of had to do it myself. So I, you know, tried to think of a decent name, came up with Big Al Presents off the cuff, and the rest is YouTube history. I just kind of found, did a few things here and there, mostly rewatches or, you know, doing discussions, things like that. And then I just kind of found the niche of the reviews and rewatches and the odd ramble every now and then. So just kind of went with what I liked, and that's what I still do.
And hence Films with Friends was born. I take it you grew from that.
Yeah.
Or
Well, yeah.
was there something before that?
Well, there were rewatches. You know, we were always doing a rewatch of some sort, and I just one day branded it with Films with Friends. I love alliteration, as many of you know, wordplay or puns or things like that. And so, you know, I had Films with Friends. I did Afternoons with Al. The kind of thing, and I just went Films with Friends, and it worked because I've always liked you know, the idea of sitting down with a bunch of friends. You know, you got pizza, chips, and or whatever, and you're watching a movie. Could be a good movie, could be a bad movie, and it didn't really matter. What mattered was just kind of hanging out and enjoying what you were watching. And I kind of missed doing that, and it's kind of a nice, like, virtual way of doing that again. You just in your living room with a bunch of friends watching whatever's on TV.
So, explain the process. Why do you choose certain films over others? How do you decide week to week? I guess what I really want to come out and ask is,
Sure.
You hit up, for example, I joined you for Kai July,
Right.
and of course the Hawk the Slayer episode, which I guess was kind of sort of my idea. We both kind of hit on it at the same time, I think. So is that, do you plan ahead, or do you, what's your process?
I do plan ahead. In fact, I've got all my rewatches for the rest of the year figured out. And I've got next February figured out. And June is starting to come into a little bit of focus, but nothing. I mean, not June, January, but nothing yet. Although March is probably going to next year. I've got an idea. For one weekend, I may be joined by a former guest and for another Bad Monster film. So might be a Monster March this time. But I mentioned my love of alliteration, so I come up with an idea for a certain subject matter. I like to do theme months. Although, of course, October, I always like to stick with a horror film of some sort, some kind of Christmas film for December. Everything else is kind of in play. And I just kind of, just films that I like, films that I may not have seen in a while. I get the idea for one film and then I pair it. I was like, well, what film would go with this and what would be a good month? Case in point, I had always wanted to watch Support Your Local Sheriff with I can't think.
James Garner.
James Garner. Thank you. I couldn't get June out of my head, which is what became James Garner June. And I thought, well, I'll just watch the two support your local films, Sheriff and Gunfighter. So I think, well, that's they're both James Garner, Just Sound. And it was June because it was just those two films. And July I had 3 weekends, so I came up with Kai July, which actually I kind of like that alliteration there. Also, could be Giant Monster July. So whichever worked for whoever. If nobody knew what kaiju meant, I always threw in the other term too. But it's just a matter of finding a theme and assigning a couple movies to it. It could be a star. It could be just a couple of animated films, like I had Animation. So like I said, I love a tortured pun, and I did. Just I had I think I had a back to school month where it was all, or summer fun months, and they were all like summer camp films. Meatballs, Friday the 13th, and there was another one. I can't remember what it was, but and then one month I did the two Grease films. So within the month I try to get something something similar. This month it's just two adventure films. August didn't really ever coalesce into something of a funner of things. I just went Adventure August. And we just did High Road to China last night, and 2 weeks of doing the original Stargate films. So just playing around with that. And next month is Stephen King September. The Cat's Eye and Maximum Overdrive. I forget which one comes first. I'll have to look at my calendar.
Is there any kind of movie that you wouldn't show? Just anything that's like, a type of movie or a genre that you're not a fan of?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do, porn or anything like that.
No, unfortunately, we cannot do that.
But thinking about it, ultimately, nothing's off the table, really. In my book, I'll do anything from an old classic. I'll do a silent film if it really comes. If I really kind of get in that mood, like if I do the original Phantom of the Opera or something, or I think would be Excuse me. Let me take a drink here.
That's okay. And oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. As long as you're okay. All right. And hello to aged Boomer.
Mouth got a little dry. Hey, Boomer. But yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing's really off the table. I just, there's just so many films out there that I like, and I like I said, a lot of time, really, it's a film I haven't seen in a while, or just feel the urge to just watch again. And some of them are newer. I did Rampage, which was just a few years old. I'm planning next year. I'm going to do A Million Ways to Die in the West, the Seth MacFarlane film, which was just out a few years ago. So nothing's off the table. It's just a matter of being inspired to watch it. That a little light from heaven just kind of shines at the right time, and I slip it into the calendar. And I'll take inspiration from chat too. I got a film coming up, which was always in the back of my mind, a film I like, but someone mentioned Captain Kronos, the Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's the fun one. I'm like, I got to put that on, and it's down for August. I mean October. It's one of my October films with Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's the other one. Just a couple of Halloween films to watch. So yeah, I mean, sometimes someone will mention something in chat, and we did Reptilicus, which Evelyn Hampton had suggested. There was a little backstory to that, so I went to her and I'm like, "You join me, I'll make it happen," and that's how that happened. So yeah, when people throw out films just to in chat, say, "Hey, would you ever watch this?" Why not?
Well, that's really how I ended up on the show originally, because I don't even remember who brought it up first. I think you did, Hawk the Slayer, and I was like, yes, I remember that, because that was kind of like this movie from my childhood, and
well, I had wanted to kind of branch out a little bit. Like there were, because Ned and I alternate weeks.
Right.
She does one, then me, then her, and I thought on those alternate weeks, when her night on a Saturday, sometimes there's Friday nights where I'm sitting here and I'm like, I really would like to do something right now. And I thought, once in a while I'll do a film there. Well, I mean, right now I'm joining Professor Geek for a book study, starting this coming Friday. So won't be a film there, but I like the idea of doing fantasy films, and so we did Hawk the Slayer, did Sword of the Sorcerer. Boomer has joined me for a rewatch of a couple of four episodes of the Robin of Sherwood series, which is a favorite series of mine, and the way he started doing that is I found out he was a fan, so I kind of, hey Boomer, want to watch Robin Hood? I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I got the episodes. It's like, let's dust them off and kind of tramps around Sherwood Forest for a little while. So we're going to do that every once in a while, as time permits, and it might take us a couple years to get through the whole series, but we'll just go with the flow, as we were talking about earlier. You just kind of, as it comes, you just get on, and like I said, I'm always willing to join someone else. I've done rewatches with Troy on Friday night once or twice. I've done with soundtracks with Birdman, has invited me on a few times, and it's just fun to watch a film with with friends and kind of, joke around or talk about the film or and I live alone and being disabled, I don't really get out. So this is my social life.
Yeah, I'm at a point right now where it's not so, I would really like to do watch parties. But the thing with me is I have to navigate around this new schedule that I have. So I pretty much have late Sunday afternoon through Tuesday. But, after that, I'm working right now 11 and a half hour shifts at my job. So, that obviously that takes a pretty good chunk out of your life. And, so it's like, I can't just come on and broadcast any old time when I feel like it. It's like I gotta plan it out now,
Right.
and then yeah.
So I'm the same way. I like knowing ahead of time when I can, so I can kind of get my mind set to it. I've thought about doing a regularly scheduled kind of an afternoon without kind of thing, kind of like something like this where you just kind of get on and it's like answer questions or just run through some things you're doing, maybe talk about a few films or shows you've been watching, just to kind of and just do it regularly. And but I just haven't pulled that trigger yet to kind of figure out when and where to do that. I do want to say I like CK's idea of August augments, like Universal Soldier and Cyborg or something like a RoboCop, right? Something like that. That would be cool. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. You come up with the pun, and then you kind of roll with it.
And here's where I'm going to have to turn in my geek card and I lose all of my subs. I have never seen Night of the Creeps.
I remember that from a long time ago. If it's the one I'm thinking about, it's like a college party thing gets invaded by, that's a long time ago. It's been a while. It'd be a good one. That's a good one to watch. Yeah, 80s. 80s were, I mean, the 80s, it's my generation. I was 50. That was during the 80s was when I was 15 to 25. So that was kind of me in the 80s. Just the teen into the mid 20 adult. So I do remember the 80s very fondly, and what a great time to be alive.
Oh, indeed. Let me run through the chat here real quick. And Continuum says my top two are,
Night of the Creeps.
Oh, Night of the Creeps and Reanimator. Reanimator.
Jeffrey Combs, yeah.
Jeffrey Combs.
Nice guy, too.
Barbara
nice guy
Crampton.
Too.
Yeah.
Met him a couple times. Barbara Crampton. Oh, man.
And she's still hot. Oh, my God.
She is gorgeous.
She hasn't changed. She looks the same.
Yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful girl.
Oh, yeah. And very, very memorable. Very infamous. But, yeah.
A couple reasons.
For a couple of reasons. Yeah. And which we're not going to go into right now. But for those of you,
I could go. I could hit that one you just said there too.
That's anybody is familiar with Reanimator. There's the one scene that everybody's mind usually goes to when you mention that title. So
yeah,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
I mean, Reanimator. That's some good stuff. Good stuff. But 80s horror just was always a good genre. I mean, the 80s, and I think were great for everything from adventure and sci-fi and comedy.
Oh, for sure.
I just the '80s just it was it. That was if I had to only live in one decade, that would probably be the one. If someone like sat me down and
Absolutely. And the whole experience of going to the theater and actually wanting to wait in line for the concessions and just the whole package, the whole idea of that, and that's kind of gone now because
it was a sense of community.
Yeah.
Especially back when I was in college, I was the only one of my friends. I had like a little core group of 10 friends. That me like 5 super close, and there were like the other ones that were good friends, but they were like the ones you were like super good friends with. But we went to the our local cinema, which was six screens, which for down here was new and unheard of. We had 3 theaters, like bigger one stop kind of theaters, each one like different places. They weren't like together, but this was the first time there was like a one-stop shop where you go and there's like 6 or 8 different films you could watch and choose from. But on Monday nights they had I think it was a 2-for-1. It was either a 2-for-1 or it was a discount. I forget. But I was the only one with a car, so we'd load up in my car and I would drive everybody to the theater. And the payment for driving everybody was they would pay for my ticket and soda and popcorn. So there was like about a period of 3 years where I did not pay for most of the films that I went to go see. What a great time.
Indeed. And and this the way the whole model it went from like in the 70s you still had drive-ins. But by the time you got to the mid 80s, all of the drive-ins, or at least the ones that were near me anyway, had either closed down or had switched to showing porn.
Outdoors?
Wow. Yeah.
Can you imagine being like the 13-year-old boy, like lived just on the other side of that? It's like, Mommy, can I have a telescope for my birthday?
Here's the story behind that. And in Charleston, there used to be this. There was a drive-in theater called the North 52. It was off of Rivers, and showed normal movies. The first movie I was ever taken to see was there, and it was Murder on the Orient Express. This is 1974. And my parent, but I guess the sitter kind of flaked out that night, so my parents had to take me. And obviously, being basically a toddler, I really don't remember the movie all that much. But from what I understand, I spent most of my time watching the couple in the car next to us. So if you were in the North 52 drive-in sometime in 1974, watching a Murder on the Orient Express, sorry, I C blocked you, dude.
We had. We had a drive-in here. It was called what's it called, the 235, 235 or
Mhm.
whatever this route was. Is it? Yeah, 235. Route 235 Drive-In. They just named it after the road that it was next to. But it was a really nice sized drive-in. That, you'd have two films, maybe three. I'm trying to think if I remember any three film nights. But you'd go there and it'd be a great double feature, and you get that really bad hamburger, but for some reason it tasted great. for some- and you for a while, you had the speaker on the door, but then they switched, of course, to the radio thing, which would drain your battery. And I don't think anybody really thought about that. But our radio didn't work, so I used to have this little battery radio that I'd bring with us, and enjoy a bunch of films, and it just was a great experience. But it just seemed to die. I guess as at home, with the rise of videotapes and then CDs and DVDs, it was easier to stay home for people, and places like that started to literally be dumped at the roadside. And but oh man, I always loved going there. I remember really being sad when I heard it closed.
Yeah. And what happened with the North 52? Like I said, they eventually went into showing adult films. And your question was outside? Yeah. So what happened was you could see the screen from the North 52 from this overpass, because it was an overpass that went right by the screen. Now, of course, people would complain, hey, we can see what's going on the screen. We can look over and we can see it. To which my thought was always, how about keeping your eyes on the road? Instead of, being distracted by whatever, 3-second snippet you might see,
You can see the cop going, so why'd you run off the overpass? It's like, well, yeah. Debbie was doing Dallas and I couldn't help but watch.
Indeed. And so what they did was they went and they strung up like the series of lights that run level with the overpass. And the idea was that you wouldn't be able to see past the lights, which of course, if you knew where to look, you could.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is that didn't stop, the teenagers that would like go and park down the street and then go and sit up on the slope, the little hill there between the overpass and the theater. Nobody would know they were back there, so they could just do whatever back there. So being a teenager in the 80s and in Charleston at that point in time was fun. But unfortunately, I was still a little too young at that point. So, and obviously, I'm not going to get into that kind of a film at that age anyway. So, it was kind of a moot point for me. But yeah, it's just that the movie theater, the drive-in theaters got to the point to where they started to die off. And then the weird thing is with once the unnamed virus of unknown origins took place, it's like that kind of reinvigorated the drive-in in a weird way, because they started to pop back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have like what happened here, where you had local theaters converting back into drive-ins. So it's I don't like the reasons, but I like the fact that we're seeing a resurgence in
drive-ins. Yeah, kind of the proverbial silver lining.
Yeah.
As it were. Yeah, there's several places in my county. Like there's local fairground, and they have this huge parking lot, and I never not think when I used to drive by, it's like, you put up a big screen at the front there, and with the right projector, and I think that'd be it'd be a great drive-in area for a pop-up drive-in event or something. I don't know. I don't know I don't know if logistics is the right word for, with the broadcasting the sound and all, but it'd be a great spot. Just put up this big old thing because you're going to get a lot of cars parked there and watch. I don't know, some old film. I'm sure someone could pop a DVD in a projector. One thing I like about those little projectors now, you can just hook it up to a laptop and get something about 10 foot, kind of like do a little backyard drive-in. You see I always I have a file that just says drive-in with like I don't know, pictures of old drive-ins or signs and things like that. But also I've got pictures of like people who have their kids make these little car boxes out of boxes, and they would set them up in the car, and they're watching this, hang a sheet and project a film there, but they're in their little box cars. It's so cute.
Have you ever heard of a movie called At the Drive-In?
Not that I can recall.
It's a documentary, and it's about the Mahoning Drive-In. I keep wanting to say it's in like Wisconsin or Ohio or something. I may be totally wrong. I'd have to look it up again because I'm blanking. But it's a documentary about how they kind of rebuilt this, what was at that point in time an abandoned drive-in, refurbished it. And it's about this kind of motley crew of people who just, had a love for drive-ins and had a love for film that rebuilt this drive-in. Beautiful movie. It's definitely one I would recommend. And maybe if I ever started doing watch parties of my own, maybe that's one I should have on the list of movies to show, because I don't know how many people have seen it. I think it's on Amazon right now.
At the Drive-In, directed by Alexander Manelli, 2017.
Yes. 2017, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Download.
Yeah, great movie. One I would highly recommend.
I like stuff like that. The memorabilia. I'm not the nostalgia. Well, I like memorabilia too, but the nostalgia of like a drive-in or even like a great theater where you walk in and it's not like a closet with a screen, a big screen in front. It's just right old day. We had one in a town near us. It was called the New Theater, and it was it had art on the wall and had a balcony, and it was like it was an event to go there. And now it's actually it's still there. They've renovated it, but it's more of a stage for concerts and things. But I mean, just going to a place with that looked the same as it did like in the 50s. My mother went there when she was young, and it looked the same. And it was this, it's such a shame when places like that get replaced with the little cookie cutter, cineplexes with I mean, it's great. It's got all the great sound and everything, but there's just no soul to it.
Very true, because I can remember the movie theaters of my youth. I remember in North 52, Charlestown Square Mall, the Terrace, the Fox Theater, Pine Haven. They're all gone now.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been, and they either they just got replaced by other things. They didn't even switch a movie theater out for a movie theater. They're just gone, and they're these like multiplexes now.
Yeah, I mean, I would be the first one to say it. I mean, when I was in my, early 20s and things like that, it was really cool to see these bright and shiny new places. Like, like I said, I went from a little rural area. I mean, we had my area that I live in is like rural, and we had, like I said, we had 3 theaters, and then suddenly we got the 6-screen place, and now there's a 12-screen place up the road here, and but like I said, after a while it's like, man, I really miss those bigger places. Just the popcorn tasted better. I mean, the butter flavor and smell had seeped into the wallpaper. It's that kind of a place. It's just great.
Yeah, indeed, I miss it. I really do, and yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same feel to it. And I'm somebody who used to go to the movie sometimes twice a week. And now, if I go twice a month, that's a surprise. Continuum says movie theaters dying, malls dying, comic shops dying. It sucks. Yeah, it really is. And 12 screens. Are there even that many films on any given time now? No, that's the thing. Was the whole idea with the multiplexes was not only were you supposed to get like the big budget studio Hollywood movies, that would also give space to kind of smaller independent films. And then you would have the two of them together. And at the very beginning of when the multiplexes started to sprout up, you would see that. You would have like some big budget Stallone action movie, and then maybe have this little independent movie that maybe you didn't know the title of, but at least it's there. But the trouble is now you go to one of these 12-screen theaters and 7 screens are Thor: Love and Thunder. That kind of just knocks the wind out of your sails. And CK saying Barbie's on 10 of them. Yeah.
Well, look at let me see. I just went to the website and they have 8, 9, 10. They have 11. There's 11 playing. Elemental, Sound of Freedom, Mission Impossible, Haunted Mansion, Talk to Me, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Meg 2, Last Voyage of the Demeter, and Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's all the same movies and all the all the movie theaters everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, but I do know they have little like event kind of films and special kid films at certain times, even a morning showing or something. And I have noticed that they will have that like small independent film every now and then, which before never got anything close to like that. If you wanted to watch, I remember when Pride and Prejudice was out with Keira Knightley.
Mm-hmm.
I had to drive 2 hours to go see that because there was just no way that film was going to come down here. And I love me and Jane Austen films. So I went up to the Washington Baltimore um, area that what do they call it? Well, the 301, it's like a road there. They call it something, but I had to go basically, all the way halfway up the state to go see that film. And there are a couple films that are like that a while back, but don't have to worry about that now on, with the internet. You can pretty much find anything or.
You can. And I'm not afraid to say there are certain movies I watch online.
Mm-hmm.
I've made no bones about it. I know we have to come on and say that we don't condone it, but let's face it, a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, it's when you can't get out to see something at all, it becomes, especially when you like doing, like I do, reviews and stuff. Gotta be able to get those films in and be able to watch them and do a review. I just watched the last Voyage of the Demeter today. It finally appeared, so I got that review up.
I know there are people that are having difficulty seeing that movie because it for whatever reason it wasn't like a worldwide release. I know Mr. H had a video up yesterday or earlier today where he said it's not playing in the UK.
Oh, the Demeter.
Yeah, and
some films, some films will release in one area. I mean, God, before it used to be a film would release in America in like the US in August and wouldn't hit England until December or something. It was weird, and you're right. Financially, it really doesn't make sense. The only reason I could think of it is there's some weird contract out there that America gets dibs or something like that. But there are some films that have released early overseas before we get them. So it's just I don't get it from a financial standpoint.
I want to bring up what Troy says here. It says, if the film is good enough, we'll buy the physical media. If it's really good enough, we'll see it in the cinema and buy the media. If not, they don't deserve our money. This is very true. This is the way I look at it, because my whole way of going to see movies has changed. That's the one thing that happened during the pandemic, is the way I look at seeing film changed. If it's something that I'm really looking forward to, like a Dune 2 or a Mission Impossible or an Oppenheimer or Demeter, I'll go see it. I'll have no problem going to see it in theaters. If it's something that looks like it's going to be a streaming movie, then I'll wait. I won't be in a hurry. Usually like the mid-budget stuff, like the Boogeyman or something like that. Like, I don't need to run to the theaters to go and see that. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I watched a Barbie movie, and again, I stress I did not go to the theaters to see it, was because of the debate surrounding it. And I didn't feel comfortable speaking out about it either way without seeing it, even though I knew it was going to be a train wreck, and it is. It's a really good looking train wreck, but it's
it's well made. It's
it actually is. But
the message of it is atrocious.
It is. It's anti-male, it's anti-family. there's this weird kind of trans allegory that goes through that's threaded through the whole thing. It's just it's kind of creepy as a movie,
Mhm.
just in general, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
poor choices all around. And but yeah, it's bright and shiny. Everybody likes to go see it. And,
yeah, you know,
um,
it's like I said, you know, the production design, the budget for the production design, every cent is up on the screen.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous film. I can't say nothing about that, but
Mhm.
yeah, just instead of celebrating what Barbie has been, they denigrated what Barbie has been. And I just think that was just the wrong route to take.
And I want to go ahead and lead it into another question that I did want to ask.
Mhm.
And what has become one of my favorite segments of yours is, of course, the 10-word review. So how did that come about?
That came about purely as a way to increase my content. Uh, I,
Fair enough. You know.
I like reviewing a film, so I like putting my opinion out about a film, but I just couldn't do these like 5 to 10 minute reviews on on a film when it just started sounding the same way. Oh well, the score is good, the cinematography is fine. This is it just felt very um I just felt like I was like I could say this much quicker. And I just thought, and I just didn't feel up to doing every film I watch in this written out long review, which is I tried doing it just off the cuff ramble, and I just didn't like how it was coming out. So I just said, well, if I write out and just read it, it just for me it was I'm not gonna say easier, but it just made more sense for me. Uh, I just couldn't. Uh, I just couldn't figure why I should do that with every film. And there were a lot of films that I just would go by the wayside that I didn't write a review for because I didn't feel like writing out 2 or 3 paragraphs of stuff on it. So I challenged myself one day. I was like, I need to find a way. And I originally thought 15 words. I was like, this doesn't. I think 10. 10 words. It's like, can I do 10 words? And I did a couple test runs for myself. It's like, can I do it? And I was like, yeah. And then in my head, it's like, when you walk out of a movie and you see your friends staying in line for the next show, and they're like, what'd you think? It's like, what would you tell them in that 5 seconds or 10 seconds that you have to really say something and not give anything away to anybody standing around? And that's kind of the concept. It's just a quick sentence, maybe 2, like I said, 10 words. Sometimes that's all you need to really tell about a film, or all you really need to say about it. Sometimes I put a little extra at the end. It's like, oh yeah, that's really good. I really liked it, But that's just you can tell if I like something by the rating. That's just me kind of putting an exclamation point on it. But yeah, I just figure I could do that, and I've got it set up that I can put one of those suckers out fairly quick. And so instead of with these longer reviews, it takes a long time to to do it, to download it, to edit it, to do this and do that and the other, and wait for it to export and all this, where a short one just goes a lot quicker. And it was born, and I got to the point where I really enjoy doing that. It's almost more of a challenge to figure out what 10 words to use as opposed to writing out these long reviews.
Mhm.
And I think people have a better, they don't have to sit there and listen to me drone on for 5 minutes, where they can just come in 1 minute later, they know what I thought about it.
Let's take a moment to explain your rating system really quick, because I had kind of a question about that the other night. You said something to the effect that like if you gave a movie a 2.5-star rating, that doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't like it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that just goes to, I always use it's the Ouija shark rule. It's like a bad film doesn't necessarily mean I didn't like it, but there is kind of, I had something written down here that I thought I could, there it is. I was going to do a video, and I still am. I just, for some reason, just haven't gotten around to recording it. Where I've equated it to a school system, A through F, and percentages. Like a 0 is an F minus. No, absolutely nothing. Even the poster art sucks. There's just no redeeming factor to it. And you can pretty much say, a half, anything from a 0 to a 1.5. It's just bad film, poorly made, not worth really anything. And I got the 1.5 as kind of a D minus, though. Like you look at Barbie, something about it worked. The design worked. Gosling's performance, even her performance, they were fine.
Yeah,
of course, the words coming out of their mouths were terrible, but their delivery was fine. I mean, Gosling was hysterical to watch. Thank God for his performance that helped me make it through it. Then you get into what I like to call your mileage may vary zone, the 2-star, where I'm not going to say a 2-star film is bad. It could be anywhere from your basic D, your 65, up to a 72, like a C minus. It's not great. Your parents wouldn't be happy with the grade you brought home, but you'd still graduate if it all came down to it. The zone where I would recommend a film, a 2.5. If I give a film a 2.5, I'm comfortable saying, yeah, go see this film. It's okay. It's in the middle. It's in that middle zone. It's fine. It's nothing special or great, but it's in that like C to C plus range on a test. If some people are very happy to get that grade, if they're struggling. But then you get 3 stars is like your B to B minus. Like if you get the 80 to 86 grade, it's really good. You're happy. It's solid. Great entertainment. Had a good time. Cast is good. Acting is fine. The story makes sense. Good time at the movies. And then you get into your 3.5. Your 3.5 will take you into the A range in my book. Until I have the numbers 87 to 91. So you just tip it into the A range. And like your 4 stars is like A to A plus, 92 to 94. The 4.5 is like a solid A to A plus, 95, 97. 5 star, that's like a 98 plus. That's rarefied air.
Yeah.
Everything hits. It does it have to be a perfect film to get 5 stars? No. It could have the odd issue here and there, but if there's something about it that kind of transcends the moment, or if it was the right film at the right time doing the right thing. And I'll say the film I would use for an example, I gave Ghostbusters Afterlife 5 stars. Simply for the fact that it wiped the bad taste of that 2016 piece of you know what out of my mouth. That film was able to reinvigorate that franchise. It was emotionally poignant. Is it a perfect film? No. But it was perfect in what it did at that time. So, but yeah, 5 star is, to me, you know, it's very rare. That's a Raiders, original Star Wars, Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz. It's that rarefied air kind of classic. Can't touch it. But then every now and then you get something like a Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I can't deny it the 5 stars because of how it made me feel, and the fact it is a darn great film. I'm trying not to cuss.
Yes, no, that's quite all right. Just it's my channel. It's
well, yeah, I hear you cuss all the time. I just,
all the time. I probably shouldn't, but I do.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that made sense. Me saying like that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's that bottom zone is wide. I mean, badness is a wide is. Yeah, there's more room at the bottom than there is. No, wait. I'm trying to think of how I want to say that. Yeah, you heard what I said. I'll put out a video one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I give something 2 stars, recommend with a disclaimer. 2.5. I'm pretty okay with recommending it. It's good. You know, it's decent. Nothing. You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I think you might enjoy it. Yeah, the 3 stars, the 3 and above, that to me is great, and it kind of starts to scrunch up a little bit. Not there are all good films out there, but some just go in that big rarefied air, as I like to say.
Well, the way I think of it, and I actually did a whole episode of Unscripted about it.
I saw it. I saw you talking about your ratings, and that's what kind of made me think about mine, because I rated Dune, the part 1 that came out last year, the year before. I gave it 3.5, which was good, really good, but somebody really got upset. Like 3.5? What are you, crazy? That was crazy.
No, I'm 3.5. 3.5 is perfectly fine.
First of all, yeah, it's perfectly fine, and you don't have my brain. There were some major issues with that film, really, but a lot of it was fine. It was awesome, but there were some issues that I had.
It's something that I am constantly massaging.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when you get later in the year, some movies don't necessarily resonate with you the same way as they did when you first saw them. So they kind of tend to fall off like half a star either way.
Yeah, if I go back and look at all the films that I've graded, there might be some that get downgraded. There might be the odd one that gets upgraded. Sometimes my mood will dictate something. As I was saying about Ghostbusters Afterlife, there was this big hole in a lot of the fans of that franchise's heart because of that god awful one that they did, and that to me wiped it out. It filled my heart up, and that's why I was like, that's 5 stars in my book.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect film, but it's a 5-star film that just made me feel perfect. But if I think of a film, if I went back, might downgrade. I saw the film Greenland. I don't know if you've ever seen that one with.
I'm aware of it. I haven't gotten to it.
I gave it 4.5. And that's good. I loved that film when I first saw it, but I think it's like, man, did I really give that too much? Maybe would it lose a 0.5 star, or maybe even a full? Maybe when I knock it down to 3.5 now that I've kind of, as my system kind of gets more refined. I don't know, but I mean, I'll stand by any rating I give something. If I gave it 4.5, that's what I felt at the time. So.
Like one movie this year that I actually bumped up a 0.5 star was Skinamarink.
I still have to watch that
horror film, and I said this in my review right up front. This isn't going to be a movie for everybody,
right?
Because it is so abstract. I said in my review, what if David Lynch made a Paranormal Activity? It would be this movie. And but it really sticks with you. I gave it 3 stars originally, and I bumped it up to 3.5. But it really kind of stuck with me if you read between the lines, because nothing in that movie is said directly. Everything's oblique. But when you read between the lines of what's actually going on in that movie, in which I'm not going to give away because you haven't seen it, and then you go, oh my God. Wow. This kind of the whole way that, because, it seems like, it's just this kind of abstract, images, because it's all seen from a child's perspective.
And like I said, sometimes you get those that just, like I said, they play with your head a little bit in a good way. And like I was watching the other day, I was watching that Nicholas, that Sympathy for the Devil. Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff in there where I'm like, oh wow. It kind of went. I mean, I was like going, did I suspect it? Maybe a little bit, but I wasn't quite sure where they were going with it. And then when they got there, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was it's kind of a little nifty, and I appreciate it. And where someone else may not get it. I had a friend of mine. He went to go see Pulp Fiction. He didn't know what the heck was going on. I was like, you couldn't keep up with Pulp Fiction. And he's like, no, it's like this, Gimp kind. I'm like, it just didn't, as you said, didn't resonate with him. And I loved Pulp Fiction. I thought that was a fantastic film. But yeah, he just was like, didn't get it, didn't like it.
Yeah, there were people at the time that did not get it,
Yeah.
And because and I'm like, well, what's not to get? All you got to do is take the last story, put it first, and then go the rest of the way. It makes sense,
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's an anthology. It's like several different stories, but they're interlinked with familiar characters. It plays a little with the timeline. You just kind of line it up. You just keep it lined up in your head, right, knowing when things are taking place. And sometimes you don't know when they take place until the very end. And I really enjoyed that. Like Troy saying, Skinamarink makes a good double feature with the Babadook. I saw the Babadook.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Babadook. I haven't seen actually.
I
That's
like
another
I
one I
like the
need to get to.
Babadook. Yeah, Babadook was good.
Because I know one of the major complaints, and now that this is making me wonder if Troy finally saw Skinamarink. So I really I'd like to talk to him about what he thinks of that one. I know a lot of the complaints the Babadook got was, well, there's no monster in it. I haven't seen the movie, but I know the plot.
Yeah.
It's not about a monster. It's about a woman going through.
It's an abstract monster.
Yeah, it's an abstract monster. In Skinamarink, it's an abstract monster. Or is it? Who is the monster? I have the theory about that.
But, anything everybody's going, it's like, well, it's kind of, it's like all these high end kind of concept things. I was like, go back and watch Twilight Zone episodes. There's a lot of great high concept stuff in there. And some of that, like in 20 minutes, they can do something so good that it makes most cinematic movies pale by comparison. Just, it's called good writing, folks. It makes a big difference.
Hello to Joe's Atmosphere. Thank you for watching.
Hello.
Continuing Chronicles says there are a lot of movies that everyone else loves that I'm very meh towards. Sometimes it seems to me like it's just obvious or overdone. You'd be very surprised. There are some movies that are so-called classics, and that I'll watch them and just be like, I never understood what the big deal was about Gone with the Wind. I don't get it.
That's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm not going to bust somebody's chops if they don't like it.
Oh no,
everybody's got different tastes. Well, I was watching a Friends episode and they brought up the thing, and they were talking about films and getting a film, and she brings up Citizen Kane, and I'm like, you're right, I don't get Citizen Kane. I tried watching that thing and it bored the crap out of me. I mean,
I love Citizen Kane, but
yeah, I mean,
again,
I know that,
yeah.
and I know there's a lot of that. I watch it. It's just not my cup of tea. And it's been a while since I tried to watch it. Maybe today I would get it, or it would go better for me. Sometimes it's your life experience or things like that, and but I mean, you come down to a good film is just a good film, and you watch over and over again. I'm sure you're the same way. There are films out there I can watch over and over and over again. I know what's coming. I can mouth the words, but I don't care. I'll watch it anytime it's on television. A film like Jaws, Tombstone, Twister, those are like, oh, they're on, let me watch them. Just because I just happen to love them. No, I'm not, well, something else is on, but or it depends on what I'm doing. But yeah, God, I watch Jaws and pick out all these great things, and there are things I'm noticing things now that I never saw before. Certain shots or the way a scene is set up, or I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Strauss saying it might be kind of cool to do a spoiler heavy deep dive stream on Skinamarink. Indeed, yeah, I'm down with that, because there are a number of theories about what's taking place in that movie, and one of them is that you can take it at face value. But I think there's a lot more going on in that movie than meets the eye. And that's definitely one to do a stream on. So we'll definitely have to get together on that one, Troy. That's because I'm definitely I'm very curious to hear what your opinions and theories on that one might be. Because again, I don't want to go into spoilers because Al has not seen it, but there's something very specific I think they're trying to say with it. And
CK can't watch Lord of the Rings, puts him to sleep.
Yeah. I got to tell you, honestly, for as much as I like those movies, when I first saw Fellowship in the theaters, I did doze off for a couple of minutes. I don't think I missed all that much, but yeah,
I remember when I first saw that film, I felt like they pulled it right out of my head. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, and he hates Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter. I like the Harry Potter movies.
I like the Harry Potter movies, yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. Nice little escapist.
Yeah. I
love it. I love anything you can just leave this world and just just disappear and disappear into another world. That's the great stuff about for me, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Raiders. You just flip a switch and the world disappears.
Fellowship is the best of LTR. I'm not saying it's not good. I love those movies. I really do. But when I first saw it, I guess I didn't know what I was getting into. I guess I did kind of doze off a little bit, but maybe like a minute or two, just kind of, which was something that actually happened a lot with me in movies back then. This is just the older I get. The older I get, the longer the movie I'm going to miss a few minutes. This is how it is. You see, to me, Harry Potter is right up there with Teletubbies. Ooh.
Ugh.
Ow.
No, I like the Teletubbies. What? Nobody? No response. I was expecting you to say that.
Hey,
I want to say. I will say something. I'll say something odd though. I mean, yeah, it's a joke. I mean, I had a flu one day, and I was at home and I was in my chair. This was like a long time ago before I had any of my surgeries. And, I was in my comfy chair, feet up, blanket over me, just feeling awful. And for some reason, I don't know if there just was nothing on. And I came across it and it was Teletubbies. And for some reason, I just kept watching. And then after it went off, Blue's Clues came on. And I watched a few episodes of that. I look back on that day as a very pleasant memory. I felt bad. They made me feel better. So Teletubbies are okay with me, as is Blue.
Says I can't do with stuff that's trying to be cute. But the thing that was weird about the Teletubbies was that they made that whole big deal about the Tinky Winky character being gay, right? Yeah. Which I don't know. Having not seen it, I don't know. All I know is it's a male character. He's carrying a purse due to math, But,
and he was purple, and he had a triangle for his symbol.
Right. So
and the triangle was a symbol for gays during Nazi Germany or something. Really?
Whatever. It's that could just be people reading too much into something that's not there. But just
it's exactly what it is.
It's it's whatever. It's It just struck me as something that you had to be on LSD or something to watch.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like to me. So I wasn't a kid when that show came on. So it's like I got that. Okay, I am not in the age group that's going to care for this. I could probably watch it and find something good in it, but just I
Yeah,
never
well,
did.
when I did this, I was in my, I was like well into my 40s or something. It was the oddest day. I was a little loopy, a
Yeah.
little
Okay.
fever ridden, but it just made me feel good.
Sure.
Fond memories of the Teletubbies.
Just
Plus,
saying.
when I worked at Borders, there was like that kind of stuff. I was when I first started there, I was music section, which was right next to the kids section. Those things were cross pollinating all the time.
Joe says, the best we got before that was the animated Ralph Bakshi movie, which was really the first two books. Yeah.
Those Bakshi films are cool.
They kind of meld Helm's Deep into the first book. But, the Bakshi movie is great.
I've thought about pulling those out for rewatch next year, along with Wizards from Ralph Bakshi. Do a Bakshi month.
And hello to Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips.
Hello.
Yeah. Now and I don't know how far along in the pre-production this got, but I heard recently that Robert Rodriguez was going to do a live-action version of Fire and Ice.
Ooh.
And man, I'm down with that. After what he did with Sin City, which is literally
that was cool.
The comic leafing off of the page.
Jessica Alba dancing. Oh,
that alone, yeah. But my girl Marley Shelton got hosed.
Rosario Dawson.
She died too soon. Yeah. Great movie. Anyway, let me look ahead in the chat here. And sci-fi explores some new concept. I can think about it for a week after I see it. Definitely. Fire and Ice live action in the modern day, I just can't see it. I don't know what happened with it, or who nixed it, but Rodriguez was going to shoot it at his studio. The Troublemaker studio and that he has in Austin it would have been perfect because he could shoot it just like he did it with Sin City. Sin City is not a movie that looks like they shot it in a warehouse, but they did. And then they just CG'd into panels afterward. And if he could do the same thing with Fire and Ice, I could see that working. But it would probably have to be an independent production because the studios would just mess it up. I agree. I'd like to see it though. Especially, there's been kind of like a resurgence with Fire and Ice because now they have the comic out now too. So I think I would say, pardon the pun, strike while the fire is hot.
I still remember when I remember hoping a comic would get made into a film, and eventually did. Watchmen, and I know a lot of mixed reviews about that. I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic. And because I read that, a friend of mine gave me Camelot 3000. I'd kind of like to see that developed into something like a Netflix series or a film or something. Have you ever heard of that? Camelot 3000.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's kind of a sci-fi take on King Arthur. King Arthur returns because the Earth, i.e., with England, is under attack by an alien race, and they need to, the old prophecy, King Arthur will return when England needs him the most, so he does. And also coming back are not all of his knights, but certain select knights and Guinevere, but whereas he just is like, just steps forth out of his tomb, all of his knights and Guinevere and everyone, the other people they've been like, what's the word? They already exist. It's just the memories haven't been triggered, reincarnated over the years, and their memories get reactivated by Merlin. But Morgan Le Fay shows up to try to, and it's a really cool little story, and I always kind of would like to. I always thought, man, that would make like a neat little something. I've always liked Arthurian, the Arthurian legend, Excalibur and Arthur the King, Arthur of the Britons.
Arthur, King of the Britons. And hello to Ariel Ballet. I did see your first comment, and I also see why YouTube didn't allow it to go up. Check your spelling, bud. He says, what did I come into? Spelled the way we can't show on screen. All of the sudden, you guys are talking about women sexily dancing. Well, yeah, that happens from time to time. Yeah. So hello to Ariel Ballet.
Yeah, Troy has the miniseries Camelot 3000. I'd just have the graphic novel.
That up.
Ooh, Cleopatra.
The 25-25 or whatever.
25-25. That was a cool series.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Gina Torres, who eventually, of course, would go on into Firefly. And I think Jennifer Skye played Cleopatra.
Yep.
Wow, man, I pulled that name out of a hat. Nice outfits on those girls, too.
Indeed.
They were around the same time as like Xena and Hercules and all those kind of popped up. And I think there was something else that was paired with. I can't remember now.
Yeah, there
was like the Action Pack, or it was like a little syndication kind of grouping that they used to have with a bunch of things like that were really cool.
And the Action Pack is where the Midnight Run TV series came from that no one remembers now.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. There was a TV series version of Midnight Run with Christopher McDonald in the De Niro part.
Shooter
McGavin, yeah, and he's still he's still working for Eddie, because I don't know, I think it was like supposed to be kind of a prequel to the film or something, but anyway, he's still like a bail bondsman, and Edo Ross was Marvin, and I don't remember who all else was in the show. They're like the two I remember the most. But yeah, I remember the Action Pack. That was like the syndicated show.
Yeah,
Jack of all trades. Yeah, with
Jack. I still think I know that theme song. In 1801, the revolution had been won, and Uncle Sam's favorite son had a job they needed done. Which brought Jack to a lady, but oh god, I love that show.
So is there anything that coming up this year, either film or television, that you're looking forward to at all?
Well, I'm looking forward. I am looking forward to seeing the next Dune.
Mhm.
Really not sure what's coming out.
Yeah, I got to look that up myself.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
I
like,
have.
what films are coming out?
I had a most anticipated list that I put out at the beginning of the year, and I don't know how many of them are still going to be released because I know we've already lost Ghostbusters. So
Well, I
we'll
do.
have to see.
I will say this weekend one came out that I've been looking forward to, which was Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Right.
And my viewpoint did not disappoint, so I was very pleased with that. But it's that kind of a horror film I like, which is a slow burn, very atmospheric. Let me see here, Wonka. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, Wonka looks like it might have some watchability, but yeah, we'll see. Blue Beetle, I'll watch it, but it's not something I'm really, that into. I had been really looking forward to Meg 2. It just kind of floundered for me a bit. What was your take on Meg 2?
I would put it in the wait for streaming section.
There wasn't enough Meg.
No.
The whole middle part of the film is them trying to walk across the bottom of the sea to a building and then fighting in the building, and I'm like, shark, I want sharks. Bring me sharks.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it as it was written by a 12-year-old with ADD and edited together by a pack of squirrels. That's kind of how I saw it. And
I can see that.
It's like it's a movie I would have liked.
Yeah.
When I was 12. I'm not 12 anymore.
I mean, I ultimately, the ending was fun. Yeah, the CGI was off. It was kind of, but it was, like I said, it was half a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that whole underwater thing just took too long when I wanted them to be, fighting a big shark, and it just took too long to get there. Gran Turismo, I saw an ad for that looked kind of interesting. Let's see here. I've got a certain thing I'm looking down. That doesn't interest me. The Exorcist Believer.
Might have to give that one a try, huh?
I'll give that a try. I like a good horror film, and we'll see how it goes. Now here's one. I plan to see it. It's not that I want to see it, but it's car crash. Got to stop by, check it out. The Marvels. I'll have to see that, and and the only reason is because like I said, I want to see what kind of a car crash it is. But I'm not going to pay for it, of course. I'm not that. Don't need to pay for that. There's a Hunger Games film coming out, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Oh, with what's her face, the girl that's been in all the stuff here lately, Ziegler.
Oh, no.
Yeah. If she
so
would
much
just
for that one, I guess.
Okay, Napoleon. Really want to see that one. You've heard about that, right?
Oh,
Ridley Scott.
Let's go through some of. I did chat's kind of jumping out. Let's go and See what they're
Oh
saying.
yeah, I'm on another
Yeah.
page, kind of flipping
I
around.
see. Aerial Ballet is the new Godzilla movies from Toho and Legendary. Yeah.
Ooh.
We have Godzilla X Kong, and we also have Godzilla -1 from Toho. That looks really good.
Yeah,
Joe's
you
Atmosphere did bring up Napoleon.
put up,
Go ahead, Al.
you put up, you put Godzilla in a film. I'm there.
Oh yeah. Area Ballet. No one wants to see a movie about ice cream. And he's also asking, what do you mean we lost Ghostbusters? Sony basically gave up on it. No, it got pushed back to 2024. It was supposed to be out on Christmas, and they pushed it back to March 2024. So we got to wait until next year to see it.
Is this a strike stuff, or is it something
it's a strike thing? Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be knocked down by the wayside because of this strike.
Yeah. CK
Which
is
super annoying.
It is. CK is. I'm curious to see the upcoming Transformers movie that's animated. Chris Hemsworth is Prime, and Scarlett Johansson is his wife, Alita 1. Huh. This is the first I'm hearing of this. You know, and despite the issues that it has, I still believe that animated film from '86 is the best Transformers movie.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's classic.
Hoping it has nothing to do with the live action crap. Hopefully not.
Yeah, Beetlejuice 2. I'll be interested to see how that turns
out. Beetlejuice 2, yeah, that's gonna be next year. I definitely want to see that. Aerial Ballet. Come on, deleted. Don't drag Squirrels down with Meg 2. Okay. Al sees the Marvels 10-word review.
I will. I mean, I'll do a 10-word review on it. In fact, I'm starting to lean more doing the 10-word reviews than I would any other kind of review. I really have to have something to say now to do a full review, or like the other kind of reviews I used to do. It's just they're easier, and sometimes that's all you need.
Ghostbusters 3. Yeah. Well. As far as I'm concerned, Firehouse, which, as far as I'm concerned, it would be 4. Afterlife is 3. I don't count that 216 thing. That's not canon as far as I'm concerned.
I try to
I'm a she, not a he. I apologize. I sometimes I have to go by the names. Okay. And hello to Tim Hayes.
Hello, Tim Hayes.
How's it going? Well, I'm alive. CK's I live, breathe, and eat Transformers. This is Transformers 86 is my favorite movie of all time. I can watch it on repeat. I never get tired of it. Yeah, indeed. It's a good one.
Dare to believe you can survive.
I'm mildly curious about Mortal Kombat. Well, I don't know if there's a Mortal Kombat movie coming out. That last one was okay, I guess. It's fine. Yeah. I saw it once. I don't need to see it
again. The original one? It was okay.
Yeah, the original was good. What it was, yeah. But that sequel, though, oh God. That was awful. Award bonus points for knowing the lyrics to Dare.
Right. You got the touch. You got the power. When all hell's breaking loose, you'll be right in the eye of the storm. I've got that soundtrack, and I've got an LP, the LP of it too.
Mm-hmm. We'll come to Trivia: what famous actor director's last film credit was as a voice in Transformers? If I remember
Orson
correctly,
Welles.
Orson Welles. Yeah. Here's the and Tim got there first into chat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I remember there's a lot of great voice talent in that film. Orson Welles, Leonard Nimoy.
Scatman Crothers is jazz. Yes.
Yep, and Judd Nelson as Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime.
All right. This was the list I was referring to earlier, and this is from my Letterboxd page. Most anticipated movies of 2023. Now, as you can see, some of them are movies that have already played. Mission Impossible, John Wick. I have Dune 2 up here. Ghostbusters, which I'm going to have to change because that's no longer coming out this year. Equalizer 3. Oppenheimer, which is already currently out.
Yep.
So I've reviewed 65, Demeter, Expendables 4.
I have not seen any of the Expendables movies.
Huh. But they're fun for what they are. They're throwbacks to the 80s. But if I had known when I made the list that Extraction 2 was going to be coming this year, I probably would have replaced Expendables with Extraction.
Yeah. I did not watch the first Extraction until the second one had dropped. And I watched it like the day before I watched the second one. Those are some darn good flicks.
They are. They really are.
Have you watched or plan to watch at all the Heart of Stone with Gal Gadot?
I am planning on seeing it. I want to.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. She made it. Of course, she's nice to look at, so that helps.
Yeah, because I've already commissioned Fletcher to make some thumbnails up, so that I've got some catching up to do. Heart of Stone is definitely one I'm going to see. Sympathy for the Devil, I'm going to watch that.
Be curious to see what you think of that.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about where that one's going, because it's got kind of a Collateral vibe to it.
I never saw
got me
Collateral.
Curious. Well,
I enjoy it, man. Nicolas Cage just lets himself go now, man. He just he takes it to another level.
So it's kind of like instead of having this cab driver, drive an assassin around, which is what's going on in Collateral, you have this kind of Uber driver driving the devil around. So,
or is it?
Or is he? Yeah, indeed. So,
I was sitting there going, "Don't say nothing."
Okay. Yeah, indeed. This is. Do we even know what the new Ghostbusters is going to be about? They're keeping kind of hush-hush about the plot. I do know that they're going back to New York City for at least part of it. And that
are the kids in it?
Are the kids in it? I don't know. I do know that we're getting the original cast back. They're going to be in more of the movie this time.
Awesome.
But past that, I don't really know. They're keeping really hush-hush about the plot. So there's not really a whole lot out there. Jason Reitman is not directing. It's going to be Gil Keenan, who co-wrote the previous movie and also directed Monster House, the animated film. I don't know if you remember that at all, Al, but
yeah,
that was a decent movie.
I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about. So
it's going to be about ghosts. Well, besides the ghosts, And Not really. Yeah, there's rumors, nothing more. We don't know, because they've really kind of circled the wagons on this movie. We don't know what it's about. We don't know really much of anything past the fact that it will be in New York for at least part of the movie. We know the surviving OG Ghostbusters are coming back, all of them, including Bill Murray. But past that, no, we don't know. People that catch ghosts with a gorilla, yeah, why not? Okay, you guys really jumped ahead of me. Let me get back. No, these are kids in New York catching ghosts. Maybe. What if the new Ghostbusters makes the Ghostbusters crossover we all wanted? Yeah, well, we'll see. It's Gal Gadot. I'll watch it for sure. Yeah. I'm going to give Heart of Stone a look. Collateral is a great Michael Mann movie. It is. It's a good movie. I do not want Tracy the Gorilla in my real Ghostbusters movie. Okay. Troy is saying, yes, I can confirm the kids are in it. Good. Why not? It would be awesome. Monkey Bad. I don't know who this Tracy the Gorilla is, so I'm missing something there. Close the gap between the two, and no thanks so good. Okay, so you're kind of having your own private debate there, guys. But yeah, and okay, and I will admit to something here, in case you're all wondering what my number 10 on that list of mine is. It's a independent horror movie called Shelby Oaks, and full disclosure, I helped back that movie. So there's a bit of an ulterior motive as to why I threw it in my most anticipated, but I am curious to see how it turns out. And
nothing wrong with that.
And also another movie that I'm somewhat involved with is a movie called Transient. That's kind of a sci-fi horror drama, being directed by Chris Rupert, who's on the Bad Movie Night podcast. And I helped to back that movie as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. I do know that there's like an advanced screening for that movie that's taking place. So I'm looking forward to hear the details on that. Troy's like Tracy the Gorilla was from that other Ghostbusters show cartoon. Okay. Filmation made a Ghostbusters cartoon that features a gorilla named Tracy. All right. Filmation. Was that one made by the Hanna-Barbera group or another one? They drove a flying Model T Ford or something. Cartoony. Okay.
I know what you're talking about now. I know what they're talking about now. Yeah.
Okay. Very different vibe.
Saturday morning TV was awesome back in the day.
Want to see Dune Part 2 and Napoleon? The rest of this year's menu is pretty dry. Yeah, you got to kind of admit it kind of is.
I'm kind of there on that. Those are the two I'm most looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Alan Oppenheimer played Skeletor as the main villain. He was very cheesy, over the top, geared towards a younger demographic. It's probably why I don't recall it. What is this Napoleon as everyone is talking about, a historical film? I know how Troy feels about historical films and that he tends not to like them very much. But that's kind of the double-edged sword, is that you want to tell the story, but then again, it has to be dramatic, and this is part of what I was saying about Oppenheimer, is that I don't know how accurate it is, but you're paring down what is a several 100-page long biography of the man down to a 150-page screenplay. That can't be easy to do. Yeah. And you know, nature of the beast stuff is going to get left out.
Well,
Let's see.
they had Florence Pugh in it, so that was enough for me.
Oh, and they had Oliver. Yeah, so,
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Nope.
They should come out. Should they come out with a new Masters of the Universe movie? No. Not in the current climate. Current climate? Okay. The current climate.
Yeah. I can't do it.
The cartoon was based on an old 70s live action show called Ghostbusters. Okay, I didn't see this version of the cartoon, so Filmation did the 1986 Ghostbusters cartoon. It was based on a 1975 live action Saturday morning kids show.
I can picture it in my head.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the star, but I think he was in like a weird F Troop show. He was in F Troop, I think, and then he was in that. Okay,
so Forrest Tucker or Larry Storch?
Storch.
Okay, Storch. Okay.
Larry Storch.
Now I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I think it's Larry. Larry Storch is on it.
Larry Storch. Yeah. Yeah, come down with Larry Storch. They were going to make a Motu film and just killed it. Yeah, I think that what was it, Netflix? I think that had the Motu series. Yeah, based on what I've heard, it's pretty much a train wreck.
I love the Dolph Lundgren film. You know, I know some people are iffy about it, but I love that movie.
This is probably hence why one was called The Real Ghostbusters and the Filmation cartoon was simply Ghostbusters. Okay. I'll be looking forward to History Buff's commentary on Napoleon when it comes out. Actually, Oppenheimer too. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what he says. Joaquin Phoenix is playing Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott. The trailer looks amazing. It actually does.
Yeah, it does.
The trailer looked good.
And the woman who plays the White Widow in Mission Impossible is playing Josephine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly why they call it Real Ghostbusters. No Filmation had rights to Ghostbusters' name. No more Motu movies, please. Yeah, not right now. I don't think it's going to happen. Sony had to pay Filmation to use the name for the actual movie. Vanessa Kirby. Okay,
Vanessa Kirby.
I'm there.
Yeah, she's kind of easy on the eyes.
Easy on the eyes. Yeah. Yes and no. Columbia supposedly paid to buy it, then the other company released theirs to try to milk the popularity of the Real Ghostbusters. We had Secret of Sword, which was just the first few episodes of the She-Ra show they did together. Then the 1987 live action one, most of it took place on Earth. Yeah, I remember that movie kind of vaguely. I think I saw it. I don't remember for sure.
Oh, the Dolph Lundgren
It's
one?
been a while. No. Secret of the Sword, which was the She-Ra animated film.
It had He-Man in it too, right? Because I think I saw that movie in the theaters.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I went to it in the theater, and I felt like a pedophile. Sitting in the middle of the thing with all these kids. With the odd adult here and there, but you know, I was the only one that didn't have a kid with him, but I was like,
well, that was kind of I had sort of a similar thing happen. I've brought this up before. I used to be on a website called Stardust, which was a film review site where you could shoot these little, 45 to 90 second, film video clips. And I picked a movie at random. I just said, I'm going to pick a movie that starts at 7:00. and I'm just going to go see whatever that movie is. And the movie turned out to be Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
Ooh.
And which was a Disney movie based on the Nutcracker. Not really. And so it's basically me in a room full of like soccer moms and their kids. You know? And you have Keira Knightley playing the Sugar Plum Fairy, who turns out to be the villain. It's a movie that has two directors, Lasse Hallström and Joe Johnston, and you can tell where the Hallström movie ended and Joe Johnston began, because they're two diametrically opposed directing styles. You have Keira Knightley rubbing up against this, life-size toy soldier, going, "Oh, he's so big," and I'm like, "This is a kids' movie. What are you doing?" And then you have the added bonus of Morgan Freeman playing a German. It's a true story. All right. Tim is saying Secret of the Sword. Sorry. I remembered which one you meant. Yes, He-Man was in it.
Yeah. I got a collectible comic that I found one day, and I gifted it to Professor Geek, and he had it framed because he's a big He-Man fan.
Okay. Come on now, you mean to tell me you didn't see any of the My Little Pony movies in theaters?
No.
Yeah. I remember the thing that cracked me up, because this was sort of a similar experience with me in the Nutcracker movie, was when Brad Jones went to go see what was it, Barbie's Starlight Express or something like that, which was like this animated Barbie movie. Because nothing else came out that week, and he's trying to do a show for it, right? So just go see the movie that's out. So I can just imagine him sitting in there with all those, with a bunch of kids. Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Yes, this was an actual movie, believe it or not. In fact, if you remember that year, Jeremy Johns voted that as like the worst movie of the year. Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Yeah, it is not good. Scarlet Witch shows up and wants kids, starts killing people as one does. Yeah, that was Doctor Strange too. Yeah, but it's Keira Knightley though. Yeah.
Yeah, I like me some Keira Knightley.
But yeah, and I love her too. But the problem is when the movie changes directors halfway through, and like I said, you can tell the point where it changes. She's basically two different characters in that movie, because her character just does this complete 180 and becomes the villain out of nowhere for no reason. It's okay. It could have been like Smithers and Malibu Stacy. Okay. If you like Keira Knightley, there are better films to see her in. Oh, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Far better. Scarlet Witch in the Four Realms versus Miles Morales in The Flash, guest starring Michael Keaton. No, CK. No. Put down the whiskey and step away. We're not doing this. All righty. Well, We've reached the 2-hour mark, and Al has actually stayed much longer than he had originally intended. So I want to go ahead and
I am fading a bit.
He is fading a bit. Bad CK. Yeah, that's what I said. There's certain ladies I will always watch no matter what they're in. Yeah, I'm the same way with a few of the ladies as well. Yeah. And pass the whiskey over this way. Yes. Oh well, I killed the show. No. It's just that we kind of agreed on a wrap up time, and we've kind of surpassed that. So all righty, I'm gonna very quickly wrap this up. I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Troy and Netters, get well soon. Aged Boomer, Aerial Ballet, CK, Joe's Atmosphere, Tim Hayes. Let me scroll up here real quick and see if I forgot anyone. I'm sure I probably did. Talk amongst yourselves a second.
Well, before we go, though, I do want to thank you for having me on here. And you guys, like I said, drop by my channel if you haven't already subscribed. Got some reviews. Dropped the one for Last Voyage of the Demeter today. Got Heart of Stone up. Sympathy for the Devil. And what was the one I did before that? That's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I watch film, I do a review, it seems. Do that, of course, the rewatch is coming up. My next one is in 2 weeks. I'll be rewatching Stargate, but I will be joining Netter this Saturday for Casper with Christina Ricci.
Aerial Ballet is, I'm the same way when it comes to porn. So am I. Anyway, great minds think alike. I'm full of feisty nonsense. You forgot yourself. I did not forget myself. So what about porn now? Well, we're not going to discuss that right now. You'll want to go to the Holly Randall's channel for that. You didn't pat yourself on the back for another great stream. It was a good stream because I had a great guest, and I want to once again thank Al for being here. If you're not yet subscribed to Al's channel, now is the time. Please do so. Great watch parties, great reviews, and maybe some live streams on the way here. All right.
Eventually. I am due.
Indeed. It's fun to watch. It is. Mila Jovovich, Keira Knightley, Kate Beckinsale, just off the top of my head, and Ariel, if she'd ever get in front of the camera. All righty. Indeed. All right. So if you like the show, please hit the like, share out the stream, say hello in the comments because it helps the algorithm. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat. Everybody lurking in the background, everybody who watches the replay. If you come upon this video and you are not familiar with mine or Al's channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and all that good stuff. I keep getting stuck on 215 subs. I'd like to have a few more. I'd like to hit 500 sometime before the end of the year. So
yeah, me too.
So we both will.
I was at 440 last I checked.
Nice. All right. Also, until next time, everyone, stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Yep. Eat your cereal with a fork and do your homework in the dark. Extra points to whoever remembers what movie that line of dialogue came from. Get Big Al's link then. Yes, whoever is wrenching, please get Big Al's link up before we go. Keep on keeping on. LOL. Okay, maybe I can do this myself real quick. Hold on, let me switch over to my other screen.
You're saying I'm not on YouTube, so I'm just on the StreamYard. It's at Big Al Boski. At Big Al Presents. I did the old one.
Okay, at Big Al Presents, guys. All righty. Gonna go ahead and wrap this puppy up. There we go.
That's cruel to do to a puppy.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right. I want to thank Big Al once again for coming on. Everybody for watching. From HQ, good night. Take care. Stay strong. Because this is how we win.
Bye, everyone.